Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Big Ten Under 10 on the Hoosier Network. Graham Nash, Adam Oppenheim back with you today after the break. We hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving watching the madness that ensued in the Big Ten. And in case you missed it, we're going to catch you up on everything that happened in the conference as per usual. We'll start with football, and a lot happened in rivalry week. So let's get you the scores. In the game, that team up north beat the Ohio State Buckeyes 13-10 in Columbus, not only ruining their holiday, but also their Big Ten championship hopes, as Penn State crushed Maryland 44-7 to steal that spot from the Buckeyes. In the Big Ten championship game, the Nittany Lions will be facing the only undefeated college football team in the nation, that being the Oregon Ducks, who took down their West Coast rivals, the Washington Huskies, 49-21. In the battle for the Old Oaken Bucket, the Hoosiers wiped the snow off the field with the Purdue Boilermakers. IU won 66-0. In another heated rivalry, the USC Trojans lost in sunny SoCal to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 49-35. And then filling in the gaps, Minnesota beat Wisconsin 24-7. Nebraska narrowly lost to Iowa 13-10. Illinois beat Northwestern 38-28. UCLA beat Fresno State 20-13. And Rutgers beat Michigan State 41-14. Adam, we're going to move to you. A lot happened. Let's start with what on earth went down in Columbus.
Just an absolutely horrible showing by the Buckeyes and head coach Ryan Day. 4 straight time losing to Michigan. This time, 3 touchdown favorites against a team who had a walk-on quarterback, was out there without their best corner, Will Johnson, without their best target, Colston Loveland. What is going on in Ohio State land? It was just an awful game. Ohio State, they've been able to recruit so well. They had 6 of the top 11 recruits in the 2021 class. That didn't include now Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. But still, 5 of those players are still there and never won against Michigan. This Michigan team is full of 3-star, 4-star players, but they're a better coached team now under Sharon Moore. It was impressive what the Wolverines did, but I just didn't understand the strategy from Ohio State and Ryan Day. Why are you just running the ball the outside instead of pushing the ball down the field? Joe Clack continued to say it during the broadcast. You have to trust some of your targets on the outside. In Ohio State, they didn't do that. They just kept running inside and getting 2 or 3 yard gains, and they end up losing the game. Davis Warren handed it to them on a silver platter, throwing an interception at the 1 yard line that should have been a touchdown about 99% of the time.
And they've got some NFL caliber wide receivers that they just didn't go to.
Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Ibuka. I don't know how you lose that game, honestly. It is an absolute embarrassment for Ryan Day. And Jim Harbaugh said a few years ago that he was on third base, and wow, he moved back to second practically with that loss against Michigan.
All right, so real quick, they get bounced from the Big Ten championship game. It's going to be Oregon-Penn State. I think I know what your answer will be, but who do you have?
I think I have Oregon just because they've looked better throughout the year. But this is the chance for Penn State and James Franklin to come up with another win. And if they win, the question is, do they have a chance to jump into the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff? That could happen. I'm interested to see how Drew Aller does against a really good defense. He's had some struggles against the better teams and has been really good against the lower-level teams. This is a big-time litmus test for Drew Aller.
All right, well, that game will be played this weekend. The football world wasn't the only one that saw lots of drama. Let's move to the hardwood and get you some stirring scores from men's basketball. Oregon made lots of noise over the break, taking down a pair of ranked opponents. They beat the 20th-ranked A&M Aggies by 10 and the 9th-ranked Crimson Tide by 2. On the other side of the coin, the 14th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers lost to an unranked Louisville team 89-61 and to the 3rd-ranked Gonzaga team 89-73. IU would, however, round out their trip down to the Bahamas with a win over unranked Providence. Like Oregon, Michigan beat 22nd-ranked Xavier by a whopping 25 points. Michigan State beat 12th-ranked UNC in overtime to win the Fort Myers Tip-Off Beach Division Championship, and Illinois beat 19th-ranked Arkansas 90-77. Purdue also had a pair of solid wins, taking down NC State 71-61 and 23rd-ranked Ole Miss 80-78 to win the Rady Children's Invitational. Lastly, the 15th-ranked Badgers of Wisconsin took down Chicago State by 21 in their lone game. Adam, let's start with the Hoosiers. 2 really bad losses. what happened to them in the Bahamas?
They can't shoot the ball. It's as simple as that. Can't shoot the ball and turning the ball over. Once again, Mike Woodson brings in a big, Umar Bao this time from Arizona, and him and Renew on the floor together. I could have told you before the season that it's not going to work because in the modern game of basketball, you need spacing on the floor, and in the Bahamas, Indiana just looked awful. 2 guys in the paint, a lot of standing around, no movement, no open threes, no drives to the rim. Nothing was easy. And also, Miles Rice, who is Indiana's best ball handler, just had an absolutely horrific stretch of games.
Big Ten play is starting soon for men's basketball, so the Hoosiers going to have to get things together before they take on Minnesota next week. Now, there may be snow on the ground, but that can't stop the NCAA men's soccer tournament. Let's get you the scores and then discuss if there's a chance for the College Cup to come back to the Big Ten. Only 2 scores from the last week. One, the Indiana Hoosiers lost to Denver 1-0 in the Sweet 16, and the Ohio State Buckeyes advanced through PKs 4-2 against Stanford. They're in the Elite 8. So, Adam, we'll come right back to you. Only one question. Ohio State, can they win the College Cup?
I think it's possible. If I had to make a prediction, I would say no, just because there's 8 teams left at this point. I think Ohio State would be the favorite, but the problem, or maybe what's great about it, is so many of these games end in overtime or PKs, which it can go either way. One mistake, one defensive mistake, or one, great ball on the offensive side could continue your team's season or just end it just like that. And that's what makes college soccer so incredible, because there's so many higher-ranked seeds and unranked teams who always make it far. Every single year a team makes a run. It's like March Madness for basketball, but even crazier at the men's soccer level.
Only 8 teams remain. Can the Buckeyes bring home the cup? We will see. To round out the episode, we're going to check out what's been happening on the ice in men's hockey. Penn State took down Colgate 3-2 and 7-1 in their 2 matches. Notre Dame beat Harvard 5-2, but lost to Boston University 3-4. Michigan State easily handled the Lindenwood Lions, winning 4-0 and 2-0. OSU lost to Princeton twice on the road. Both scores were 3-1. Michigan split a pair of wins against Western Michigan, losing first on the road 4-1 and then winning the second at home 2-1. Wisconsin beat the University of Alaska Anchorage Seawolves 7-1 and tied them 1-1 in 2 matches. And finally, Minnesota had similar results against the University of Alaska Fairbanks, tying with them 1-1 and beating them 5-2 in 2 matches. And that will do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Special thanks to our producer, Colin Dusick, graphics creator, Daniel Trauberman, and our teleprompter, Jesse Witt, for making all of this happen behind the cameras. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at B1G_under10, and check back here next week for our next episode of Big Ten Under 10.